Interpretability researchers have a dream. Instead of the blunt hammer of fine-tuning, use a precise scalpel. Find the direction inside an AI that represents a concept and gently nudge it. It sounds safer, cleaner, more controllable. This paper shows that same scalpel can quietly cut straight through the model's safety. So what is activation steering? As a model thinks, its ideas live as vectors in a high-dimensional space. Researchers found that concepts like honesty or refusal often lie along specific directions. Steering simply adds one of those direction vectors into the model's hidden state, turning a concept up like a dial. It has been sold as the responsible way to control a model, precise, interpretable, and safer than retraining. This paper, from a team publishing at ICML 2026, tests that promise and finds the opposite. Steering systematically breaks the model's safety guardrails. Here is a real example that captures it. They steered llama with a genuine, benign feature for the Portuguese language. It did its job, the model answered in Portuguese. The very same nudge flipped a safe refusal into harmful compliance. A control knob for language quietly became a key to the model's guardrails. The headline findings are alarming. A completely random push raises the chance of harmful compliance from 0 to as much as 13%. And by combining a handful of these random pushes, they build a universal attack that quadruples the damage. How do you measure this? They use Jailbreak bench, a set of 100 harmful requests across 10 categories. Their metric is the compliance rate, the fraction of answers a separate judge model flags as unsafe. Crucially, with no steering at all, that rate is exactly 0. The model refuses everything. They start with a single harmful prompt and sweep 4 knobs. Which model, which layer, how strong the push, and what kind of vector. For robustness, they sample 1,000 vectors of each kind. The question is simple. How often does a nudge crack the refusal? The first result is the unsettling one. Steering in a completely random direction, just noise, reliably breaks the refusal. Across models, harmful compliance climbs from 0 to somewhere between 1 and 13%. The model's latent space is simply fragile to arbitrary pushes. This is what it looks like. As you turn up the steering strength, compliance rises from nothing. And the middle panel holds a clue. Damage is worst when you push the middle and early layers, and it fades in the late layers. That location matters. Safety isn't a single switch near the output. It is built up in the middle of the network, where abstract concepts and refusal policies form. Disturb that region, and the whole safety mechanism wobbles. Now the part that should worry interpretability. They swap random noise for real SAE features, the clean, human-labeled directions people use for safe control. These benign features are just as dangerous, actually 1 to 4% more effective at jailbreaking than random noise. Scaled up to the full benchmark, the vulnerability is systemic, not a fluke. Random steering yields an overall compliance rate around 4 to 5%, and it shows up in every one of the 10 harm categories. Fraud and deception is the most susceptible, at 13%, and it is not a few rare bad vectors. Out of 1,000 tested SAE features, 817 could jailbreak at least one harmful prompt. The ability to break safety is baked into the geometry of the model's concept space. Here's the cruel part for anyone hoping to filter out the dangerous features. The most effective jailbreaking features represent utterly harmless concepts. One of the strongest was, literally, modal verbs. Another was brand identity. They are indistinguishable from the features used for legitimate control. Could you at least screen features by testing them on a few prompts? No. There is no master key. The single most potent feature broke only 35 of the 100 prompts, and features barely generalize across categories. Comprehensive monitoring is practically impossible. When a steered model does comply, it does so in sneaky ways. Sometimes it writes a safety disclaimer and then hands over the harmful content anyway. Other times it wraps the harmful answer inside a fictional story to justify itself. It looks responsible while being anything but. This isn't only a lab curiosity. They took a real, public steering API and used its benign brand identity feature, the kind meant for controlling writing style, and jailbroke a production model with it. No jailbreak prompt, no fine-tuning, just a legitimate control knob. Individually, these weak spots are prompt-specific, but the authors show they combine. Take just 20 random vectors that each crack a single prompt, average them together, and you get one universal attack vector that generalizes to unseen requests. blue bars are that universal attack, and they tower over the rest. On some models, the success rate leaps past 60%. Averaging a few random pushes turns a scattering of weak leaks into a reliable master key. The numbers are stark. The universal vector hits 50% success on the 70 billion parameter llama, double the rate of a single random vector. On Falcon, it jumps from under 6% to 63%, roughly a tenfold increase. And the requirements are frighteningly low. The attack needs no model weights, no gradients, no output probabilities, and no harmful training data. It only needs the ability to steer and to watch the output. It is completely zero-shot. So what is the mechanism? A natural guess is that steering just cancels the known refusal direction. But the harmful features have near-zero alignment with it, a cosine similarity of about 0.03. The safety break comes from tangled, nonlinear interference, not simple subtraction. The big lesson punctures a comforting assumption. Precise, interpretable control over a model's internals does not give you precise control over its behavior. The scalpel of interpretability can cut the very safety it was meant to protect, so we can't treat low-level steering as inherently safe. One line to remember. A tool built to make AI safer and more transparent can, with a single nudge, make it comply with harm. If you like these breakdowns, there's a new paper decoded every week, and the link to suggest one is in the description.